Nick, what is the secret? What did we figure out this year?
Well, we figured out the secrets of the ooze, right?
Right.
Like, all the secrets of the ooze. Like, we figured out lots of secrets, right? The secret is that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game was quite good, but it kind of had a shelf life. And I would say that was the main secret that we learned this year.
You know what? I kind of agree with both points. One, that is a good secret that we found. I wasn't expecting to play any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games.
It's kind of the only connection to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles I've had in the last, 20 years. So.
Right. You know what? We picked a good one, and let's pick the next year's stuff right after I yell into my microphone.
As you do. As one does.
Hello and welcome to the year we started a podcast. It's a podcast born Phoenix-like, and sadly, in this episode, dies Phoenix full into ashes. But we will raise it Phoenix-like. Wow, I can't believe that the person on the teleprompter is putting such a terrible game up on this this thing reading here.
This Jeff guy's.
Yeah,
really letting me down.
Yeah, Jeremy, another intern next time.
Said Jeff.
What did you say?
I already said Jeff.
No, wait, that's me. And I am your co-host, Jeff.
And I'm your co-host, Nick.
And we're half a continent apart and a whole podcast apart. I'd like to come together, revive a podcast, and talk about some of the things that are fun and interesting to us at the end of it, if we have time, which we will, because surely it can't take that long. Okay, so Nick, our podcast is over. Secrets of the Ooze is finished. That was good. I enjoyed it. Lots of good ones. Talked a lot about AI things.
We did. Which it's pretty par for the course for us. I feel like our most energy to topic is always just like we're two tech nerds, but we're always focusing on the tech that we don't like. We're like worried about. Like it's not to say that I don't like AI. It's just that I'm worried about AI, and I feel like we're just like, okay, so have we told you all about how social media is ruining us all? You know what I mean? Like that's like.
Nick,
that's
you know
like where a lot of our energy goes.
You know what?
Not all bad. I don't know.
I think what you're doing there is some really good reflection, which is why I would like to propose my first idea for our.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes. What's what's your first suggestion for our new name of our new podcast that will be born Phoenix-like?
So this is stealing from Mirror 4, Reflection. Which I love the name, Mirror 4 Reflection.
I didn't even know there was a mirror, much less a mirror.
So there's two problems with this one to start off with. First off,
the one that nobody's ever heard of, Mirror, it's not a real thing.
It is a real thing, but it is an erotic horror film series, so.
Well, it's a perfect crossover with us then, right? Like. That's like genre consistency there, at least, right?
Yeah. So, we all have our things, and this is a thing. So that's like the first, maybe knock against it, is I'm not 100% sure. Our brand is sometimes we can shift and grow. I'm not sure if that's where we want to shift and grow into. I mean, I'm open. We could talk about it.
It's interesting.
So Reflection, though, it's some good reflection. That's what I liked about it. And then I looked up the name of it, then I looked it up, and it was
didn't like it as much.
Little more questionable. It also reminded me, Nick, last time we did this. We talked about how we did the entire year wrong, and are we supposed to be looking for the fourth installments? Because definitely Secrets of the Ooze is a second installment, and per our even show notes on here, we have 2020 was the base one, and then 21 was Kickback, and then 22 was Secret of the Ooze.
I thought that we had a joke, and now I'm feeling self-conscious in that I don't remember this, and I don't know if we just messed up 2 years in a row, which would be impressive.
Nick, it was a year ago. Do not feel self-conscious. I barely remember yesterday.
So That's true. My brain has become mush, but that's not my.
Yeah.
So, however, I thought that we chose a second one because Kickback was the third one, and so we were like making a joke in our own. You know what I'm saying? Like we were like, hey, so we did the third year last year, and we'll do the second year this year. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, is Three Ninjas Kickback the third one?
It is.
Are you sure? I do not trust anything at this point.
No, am I sure? I'm not even sure I'm here at the moment.
I'm looking it up. Three Ninjas Kickback.
I'm pretty sure we had this conversation where like you were looking things up and you realized that it was the third, or one of us had. I'm not positive now that I'm saying. Like I've lost all confidence in myself as a human
Three
being.
Ninjas series. There is okay.
It's Knuckle Up is number 2, and you were saying how good of a title that would have been, and
it really is, and I do kind of now want it to be the one again. Okay, I'm just saying it's on the list, even though it's the second one. Okay, so we are supposed to be looking for 4s, right? Because I did.
That's what I've been doing.
Okay.
If I've been doing, I mean, for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. No, don't worry. I haven't gone. I mean, I am bringing gems like Mirror Mirror, the erotic horror film series. So don't worry, the bar is low.
Well, when you said it, I was like, this is like something to do with like with Maleficent or whatever.
Nope.
I'm like, okay.
Nope. Also, language. I'm gonna already have to edit this so much to make a coherent episode.
You're welcome.
I appreciate the extra bleep there. In your quick Googling, have you? I guess should we? Is there a 4th Three Ninjas? Like, should we?
You want to know something? There totally is. Do you want to know what it is?
Okay, what is it?
Okay. I don't know the name of it yet. I'm gonna look it up right now. But I just want to tell you by before I look it up and get anything from it. So the Three Ninjas have to solve a some kind of crime mystery at an amusement park that Hulk Hogan's at. That's the gist of the 4th movie, and I don't think it's any of the original ninjas, or it's like not all of the original ninjas. I'm not sure, but like it's like one of those like they're extending the series that's already kind of goofy into.
Oh my gosh! Okay, Nick, I just figured out what it is. You can't say it yet. This is going to be one of the post-episode things. I have to now tell a story, and then you can.
Tell me.
Have you
tell me?
Have you found the name of it?
I have.
Don't say anything.
Okay, it is Hulk Hogan. I was also wondering if it was like going to be a Hulk Hogan ripoff, like if it was going to be
actually
like
Hulk Hogan. Okay,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So here's a fun thing about being old: is you get kids sometimes, and they learn vocabulary that you like have no concept of, like, why are you talking the way that you are, and it is a very weird thing. Like, my son will say certain things, and I'm like, well, I know all the words you just said, but like I don't use language that way. But the weird thing about language, Nick, is if you hear it enough and you're around it enough, you adopt it as your own. Like, that's just kind of part of it, and that's how it changes over time. So that's why when I was at lunch with a coworker, and they got a lot of I can't even remember what type of food it was, and then we were at the end of it, and they had only eaten like maybe half of their food, and I'm like, oh well, they brought you a mega amount of rice and sushi or whatever. I kind of like after I said that, I'm like, I don't say that anybody has a mega amount of anything. Like, that's a very weird thing to say. And you know what, Nick? You know the number of times I've thought about the fact that I use mega unironically. Like, I have fallen asleep thinking about that. I have woken up thinking about that.
I completely understand. So firstly, do you know that one of our oldest friends, Young, has done this to me multiple times through my life, where he will my favorite instance of this happening is when you say something to make fun of people or make fun of someone, and then it just do it too much, and then it's part of your vocabulary, and you're the person that you hate, right? Young has done this to me far too much. Like in 2010 or whatever, I started saying "oh snap" super ironically.
Nick, I was literally going to say that too.
I catch myself like in college courses like saying "oh snap." I'm like, no, I can't be this human being. it's so awkward. It's such a weird thing to say.
I think I have caused everybody around me to start saying "oh snap" because Young made us say "oh snap."
I think so too.
Literally, I do think that is true because it is now commonplace around me, and I don't think it's commonplace broadly speaking.
No, I don't think so either. Oh my gosh,
man! The
Mega Mountain.
Mega Mountain. Okay. Well, fine. You've said it now. So, Nick, what is the name of Three Ninjas?
Three Ninjas high noon at Mega Mountain. That's
at Mega Mountain.
Pretty good. It's high noon at Mega Mountain. It's not just like any old time at Mega Mountain. I have to assume that something critical. They were pressed for time. They were under duress when they were solving this crime at Mega Mountain, the amusement park. I
do kind of like it because like that kind of gives the high noon part of it. It's like the sun's up, let's go, sort of energy, and I like that. And Mega Mountain, Nick, like we need to learn better vocabulary, and that's a mountain to go up, and it's all laid out.
I don't think that the mountain's going to help us with our vocabulary.
Nick, I haven't seen the movie. I don't know. Have you? So have you actually seen this movie?
Of course. What are you talking about? Of course I did.
Sorry, I didn't mean to insult you there.
That was really. Who do you think I am?
All right. So, okay.
I'm a big fan, but can I just throw a couple of weird ones? Because when you just like look this stuff up, when you just Google what the fourth ones are out there in the world,
is that the actual search? What are the fourth ones out there in the world?
The fourth ones out in the world. That's what I Googled exactly. Yeah, no, I Googled fourth films in a franchise, and to be fair, I probably should look for like books too. But I feel like.
Books? That's an interesting thing. Sorry.
Yeah. But like the thing with a book series is that a book series going to 4 books is great. It's like, oh, look at this like long-running, long-form storytelling that this person's going for. And there's a specific vibe to a series that's gone 4 movies in because either it's a really capable, awesome or franchise that like has that staying power,
or
it's
like
a total cash grab and nobody has any idea like. Okay, for example, right? There's Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Did any human being see on Stranger Tides the fourth one? Like, wasn't there like after like Johnny Depp had left and like I don't even know if he's in it or not. Like, because I think there was one movie where Johnny Depp wasn't Captain Jack Sparrow, and it's like that's literally what are you doing? Like, that's literally the whole point of this series is just to see Johnny Depp be weird and as a pirate. Like, that's the point of the series. And you try to make us watch a movie without him? Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
And so I'm a big fan of that one. Just like the year we started the podcast on Stranger Tides, kind of flows.
I do kind of like that on Stranger Tides. Okay.
Yep. And then also, I just love the ones that are like, okay, so there's American Reunion. Do you know what American Reunion is, Jeff?
American Reunion? No, I have no idea.
It's American Pie 4.
I was going to guess that, but I was too embarrassed to even acknowledge that.
But, like what? What is that? American Reunion is American Pie 4. Also has a 49 Metascore, which seems low. And those are both movies that exactly embody the vibe that I love about the fourth film in a series. And if you were to like say like Goblet of Fire, it's like nah, dude, that's nothing. Or like freaking Phantom Menace, like no, dude, you were trying to revive. No. I don't like it. It needs to be something that was obviously a mistake. It's like from a storytelling perspective, it's an obvious mistake, and I do like that about both Mega Mountain, which was obviously the best thing, so it goes against my original principle. But also, I like it about On Stranger Tides because I don't know anything about On Stranger Tides,
and I don't know anything about Mirror Mirror, the fourth installment called Reflection. So
well, I know that it thematically fits the vibe of this show really well.
I did type into ChatGPT what are good fourth installments of movie series with funny names, and I would like to toss out.
Hit me. Tell me what AI is telling us to do.
So I'm not sure how many. I guess I was about to say I'm not sure how many of these are actually the fourth installments, but and then that was confirmed with Zoolander's Zoolander 2, which I do not think. Okay. I don't think Zoolander 2 is the second one. I mean the fourth one. I mean I could be wrong.
Know that, but do we know that definitively that it's not the fourth one?
And then now I'm kind of curious because like it gives an explanation for this one. But in the movie series The Purge, there's one called The First Purge, which it says is technically the fourth movie.
I think that's I would not be surprised if it was actually like the third or the fifth or something like that. But okay. I didn't watch any of The Purge, but I do remember seeing ads for one where they're like, "What happened to start it all?" And I'm like, I don't know, you know, nothing. Like they said like we should have a purge. Like that's probably what happened.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks ChatGPT for your input. Zoolander 2, probably the best you got there. So not.
Can we just go with Zoolander 2? Is that good? Like.
Zoolander 2.
Here we started the podcast.
Zoolander 2, the fourth podcast.
It really flows off the tongue. It really, fits grammatically. I'm a big fan.
Okay. Do you have another one you can share that would be interesting? Or Nick, if not, I do have one other thing that I mean, I have like 100 other things, but I do.
Shrek Forever After. Forever After is pretty good, right? Like the year we started a podcast, Forever After.
I mean,
it's a little weird, but I do like that.
Like there is an end. I'm not sure when the end is, but it's not forever after.
Jeff, this
will never end. What are you talking about?
That's you know what? That's fine. That I'm okay with that. We will need to get like lawyers involved and like people to take on after like some heirs to this. But you know, I mean, I don't. Maybe this is the year that we get heirs to the podcast.
This will never end.
Okay, buddy. So speaking of never ending, Spy Kids, the fourth movie.
What, they made 4 Spy Kids? That's amazing.
And the fourth one is called All the Time in the World. Made 8 years after the original trilogy.
Okay, what year did that come out?
In 2011. So you would have been like 4 years old.
Yeah. So I was friends with you, so you were friends with a 4-year-old. You weirdo.
Oh no! You're a good point.
I was gonna make the joke that I obviously saw that one in theaters first day, but dude, All the Time in the World. I don't even. Is it a time traveling Spy Kids? That's so good.
I'm not sure, but Nick, let me read you the first 2 paragraphs of this fever dream of a film. And,
yes.
And again, Nick, this was in 2011, and there's some really weird things that are relevant today. And I won't even have to get.
Just we have like a 19-year-old listener who's like, yeah, dude, everyone knows what happened in Spy Kids.
Right? We watched that like 3 times when the substitute teacher came.
Right, exactly. He's like, dude, what are these freaking boomers?
Oh, my face is dying. I'm laughing too hard. Okay, Nick, here we go. OSS agent Marissa Wilson is attempting to capture a criminal named TikTok who purchases a station.
Which is probably where TikTok got the name from, to be honest.
I mean, I gotta imagine. I don't know where else you could get it from. Despite being 9 months pregnant, which, Nick, if you're not familiar, is all of the months pregnant, she continues
not an ideal time to go.
her pursuit against the admonitions of her boss. Wow, I'm really good at reading. I'm an adult. I learned this at school. Of her boss. Anyways, TikTok is captured, and the mini disc, which contains information about a weapon of mass destruction called, very cleverly, Project Armageddon, is retrieved. At the hospital, Marissa, assuming that now she's having her baby, meets her spy hunting TV host husband, Wilbur, and her 2 stepchildren, twins, Rebecca and Cecil. All these names matter so much.
They do.
She gives birth to a daughter, Maria. For a second, I thought it said Mario, which interesting choice.
Oh, okay. That would have been good.
Giving birth to her daughter, Mario. A year later, Wilbur has created a 5-year plan, which if he is successful, he will spend more time with his kids. Oh, sorry. It's for his show. He created a 5-year plan, which maybe that's what we should do. That if his show is successful, he'll spend more time with the kids. Rebecca does not accept Marissa as a replacement for her deceased mother and delights in playing pranks on her. Attempting to strengthen her rapport with Rebecca, Marissa gives her a red sapphire necklace. The media report that... Sorry. So you have all this thing, something about this weird family, and they give her a red sapphire necklace. And then the last sentence of this paragraph is, the media reports that time is speeding up at an increasing rate, And that's the first two paragraphs of this, again, fever dream of a film. But I mean,
you know how like when we had children spies solve the problem of like, time warping, you know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah.
like, you remember that?
And saved us
And it was
from
because of like
it saved
pranks
us
or
from
something.
TikTok. Yeah.
And TikTok.
I just when I
To
saw
be fair, only a child could save us from TikTok.
when I saw that it was TikTok, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Okay, so
That's pretty good.
all the
Pretty
time in the
good.
world. So you restarted the podcast all the time in the world.
I'm gonna leave it the final call to you. I feel like we've got some bangers here, some like real excellent choices. I could go for any of them. The only one I actually like as a nomination is On Stranger Tides.
Okay, you said your vote is on
My
Stranger
nomination.
Tides.
No, my nomination is on Stranger Tides. I leave the final call to you. If you like, oh god, I already forgot what the name of the Spy Kids one was. Or if you like your mirror thing, I mean, if that's what you want to do with your life, whatever. I leave this choice to you, my friend.
Okay, well, I do not accept your judgment that I can choose. So, okay, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Well, here's what I like about that is, one, it's a new movie franchise that is not the two movie franchises.
I don't think we should go back to. I love High Noon Omega Mountain. I really do. It's a great name and it's a great vibe. But I don't think we should go there.
Okay, that's fine. And you know what? I just want to give it a hug though, because I do. It's a good name, man. It's a good name, and we could have had some fun on Mega Mountain. But also, I kind of think it's probably best if I don't further my adoption of 7-year-old slang, as my day-to-day vocabulary. So I think that's probably good. And then, yeah, I mean, all the time in the world, reflection. No, I think you're right, Nick. I think you found it. I think on Stranger Tides. This is, it's Stranger Tides. Stranger Tides.
I think it is Stranger Tides. I'm into it. I'm here for it. Let's do it.
All right. Man, hold on. I got to type it into the thing. The year we started a podcast on Stranger Tides. All right. Well, we figured it out. Thank you all for all your votes. Appreciate it. Very helpful.
I'm helpful. I know that for sure.
I do want to say one little tiny note. When I did look up Spy Kids all the time in the world, and I clicked on the description, I don't know what app or whatever was causing this, but there was random lightning strikes that started happening after I clicked it. So I think that might be a little ominous for not picking it, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure.
I can't imagine it could be any kind of problem.
One thing I did want to bring to the podcast today, Nick, and this could be a short one. That's fine if it is. I did want to bring the craziness that has happened in the NFL. Have you been aware? I assume it's kind of been a little bit everywhere.
It has. So I forget his name, but a player collapsed, right?
Yeah, Damar Hamlin.
Right.
He collapsed at the beginning of a Monday Night Football game and is very thankfully doing really good. We're recording this on Friday, January 6th, so the night of, and he is, like, most recently earlier today, he was like allegedly talking with like his teammates from the Bills and stuff like that. So, and off of all breathing stuff and etc. So by all accounts, definitely seems well on his way to a full recovery, or at least a much better outcome than everybody thought at the time that it happened. Because I was watching the game live, Nick. It was pretty surreal, to say the least.
So I didn't watch it because I really don't like that kind of thing. People collapsing is not a thing I'm a big fan of in general, but also especially with just life-threatening stuff. It just makes me really freaking uncomfortable. Really glad to hear he's doing better. Do they know like what it was? I heard a lot of speculation that it might, or I don't know if it was speculation or not, that it might be from like a chest impact, right?
Yep. So still speculation, of course, to some extent, but it seems like he got hit in the chest, and at least as of right now, there's no indication that there was any like underlying health condition or anything. Just kind of a freak deal that can happen if you take an impact to the chest that causes the heart to not do heart things. And then anytime where your heart stops is no bueno.
Yeah.
And was able to be revived on the field and had to be revived a second time in the hospital. But
Yikes. I didn't realize that it was. I had heard that he had to have CPR on the field, but I didn't realize like his heart has stopped entirely.
Yeah, he got again, it's kind of like sketchy getting the real details and like knowing what's actually the case or not. But like 99% sure he got defibrillator on the field, which was part of like why, like if you see any of the reaction shots of anybody, like everybody was very upset by the whole situation that saw it all happen. And then kind of a similar thing, got shocked again in the hospital. But is by all accounts doing fantastic, which is the only reason why like I even feel remotely okay talking about this, because the thing I want to mention is an interesting topic, but it's not interesting in the context of whether or not a human life is in the balance. So that the fact that it sounds like it's all good makes me feel like I can talk about it. Which is, Nick, this happened. Are you aware that fantasy football is a big deal in the United States?
Yes, I've heard several people are interested in it. Several.
Yeah, it's catching on. This happened like for two different reasons. This is a big deal. I mean, again, aside from the fact that this is literally a human being's life that was very much in the balance there for a bit and thankfully isn't now. But playoffs are hugely impacted by this in the real NFL, and then in fantasy NFL, also like this has huge impacts because the interesting part about this, Nick, is a lot of the people in this Monday Night Football game were like literally some of the best at their position for fantasy football. So a lot of like this was championship week for fantasy football. And a lot of people had people playing in this game, and then it got called, and it recently got mentioned like they're not going to make it up, and they're actually declaring it a no contest.
Wow, good for them.
Yeah. So here's what I would like to get your opinion on, and like just like hear your thoughts. So there are lots of different variations of this like question of like how should it be handled, but in our league, and this is a championship for like, you know, hundreds of dollars, not thousands of dollars, but hundreds of dollars. And the person who was behind, he was losing going into the Monday night.
Okay.
And he had two very good players going to play, effectively certainly going to win, did not have much to make up at all. In fact, he made it up in the first like half of the first quarter. And the other guy had no players left. So like he was never going to score any more or any less.
Okay.
So other guy takes the lead and still has 3.5 quarters of play for his team to score more points. Again, very, very good players. They're going to, probably win by a ton. If to put it in NBA terms for you, if I don't know what the average score of an NBA game is, let's say 105. If the average score is 105, he was going to win by probably like a clean 40. Like he was going to hang 140 on 105 to end that. But he was ahead. But then the DeMar Hamlin issue happened. They called the game and ultimately declared it a no contest. How and to be clear, this actually just happened in a no contest. The stats from that game do not count that's
what I was going to assume, even though that it already happened,
even though it actually happened.
Yeah.
So again, with hundreds of dollars on the line and like knowing that this is the situation and here's all the things that happened, where would the court of Nick Azure land on how this should be adjudicated?
So my thought is that the spirit of the competition is not about trying to predict who will have life-ending injuries, and so to me, like the bet, like not betting, but the point, or not point, but the competition of fantasy is predicting who will do better than who based off like who you think's gonna be healthy, who's gonna have better years, is worth more than they think they look like, blah blah blah. And I think that in the spirit of it, the person who had DeMar Hamlin came out on top in this one, and I don't think like that. I'm sure that if you were doing this, like if you were setting this up on some website for like everybody publicly to join, that like they would have something, a caveat in the rules explaining what their stance is going to be, and the stance would probably be, we're just going to throw out everybody's stats in those games as if it was an injury if a game is called. I get why, but like I don't really think that's keeping to the spirit of things. I don't think like, I don't know, like if you win that as the person who would have had about 105 to the 140, you're winning purely off a technicality that is essentially never going to happen again, or almost never going to happen again. And I don't know, to me that's just like, I would just say it should be a win to the person who had Hamlin. Yeah.
Well, to be clear, Hamlin is the defensive player who caused the game to stop.
Or no, the person who had
the players that were scoring the points. Yeah, I mean, just to be clear.
No, that's fair.
But so here's what I would say. I completely agree, and I'm glad that like your competitive person now. Like, if I were the person who like was in this situation on the other side of like it would feel like the biggest asterisk of a championship and any dollar that I could ever earn ever. Like,
which doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good.
Like,
and also like, here's what I said. So there was a discussion happening in our group about how it should be handled. And in my opinion, what it was like was I gave the analogy that it feels akin to if like you and me, we were like, all right, I bet you $500 that I'm going to flip this coin 10 times and it's going to be heads every time. Mm-hmm. And then I flip it 3 times. The first 2 times it's tails, and the third time I accidentally drop it down the heater vent over there. And then I'm like, well, we can't finish.
And can't find out. Possible to say.
I didn't finish. It doesn't count.
Yeah,
it's just like, I mean, we already saw you lose though. I already lost. I don't know. To me, it seems pretty cut and dry. Like, if you want to be,
especially because if I would be more, like sympathetic to the idea of throwing out the results altogether. If players were likely to go into negative points because of things, and also if people were likely to or if like it was close, you know what I mean, like it was like, oh well, if they both had
players playing on both sides,
right, exactly, like, it's like, oh well, you never know, he could have turned it around or whatever, like that's a whole other set of things, but like that would basically be where I'd be at, is like I gotta see it actually manifest as a realistic possibility, and I don't think that is one.
Yeah, no, there was no. It was decided. Had this injury not happened, it would have.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a 0%. I mean, technically, yes, there could have been like
he could have gotten 8. Whoever it is that the guy had could have gotten 4 fumbles or something, right?
And then exactly, right. Yeah, but has all season long, both of the players that were still playing been one of the highest scoring players at their position all year. And the likelihood of them scoring negative 4 points at the end of the game, with literally they were. So here's like the situation. The guy needed to score, I think it was like 8 or 9 points going into the game, and scored 12 in the first 5 or 6 minutes. So like, again, with a quarterback and a wide receiver that are one of the best at each position, like they were going to win by a ton. It was over. And here's the thing too, like we were all watching to see like when the final actual play happened, that was like the official, like, well, he has more points now. It's now officially over instead of theoretically over, because it had been theoretically over for a while. And I don't know, like just the whole thing. What I do feel like is really hard, though, is like, how do you handle that, though, when it gets to be like because there's got to be people out there where they were in a similar situation. The other guy had no people playing. They had Joe Burrow for the Bengals or whoever playing, and they got to within a half a point or a point. and
Yeah.
was clearly going to win by 30 or whatever, or 20, but because of when the game ended, we're right up against the line. And I mean, I kind of know what my opinion is on that, but I'd be curious, like, do you have any initial thoughts on that? Because that to me is a lot harder. But
can I give you a answer that people probably wouldn't like, but I think is the most honest answer? Is like I think if like there's a freak cancellation, any players that were withdrawn from one side, I think you throw out the equivalent of a game from the counterpart. Like, so if your quarterback is out, your starting QB's just like out because of a freak game canceling thing, I would throw out the other team's starting quarterback. And I know it's not like a perfect parody thing, but I don't know. I feel like it makes the team that just suddenly doesn't have a starting quarterback through no fault of their own, no like failure of their own to predict how the season would go, have a fair shot, but doesn't like give them an unfair advantage.
That is an interesting take that I haven't heard before. So credit to you for a unique.
I try. Me. I'm out here just being weird.
Well, and you haven't been reading on this for like every iteration possible.
I was gonna say, I'm sure.
How do you feel like that's different? Like, what if like that player just would have had an injury and missed the rest of the game? Because in that case,
injuries are part of sports. Injuries are like I say that very annoyedly because I feel like the NBA discussions of the last 2 years have just been to talk about injuries. Like, that's all. It's just like, well, you can't take the Lakers seriously because they got Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is always hurt. Oh, you can't take so and so too seriously. Like, oh well, Zion Williamson, he might be a bust because he's injury prone. And it's like, yeah, you have to account for this stuff.
So do you feel like it's different if a player gets injured and misses the rest of the game, so they only score like whatever points they put up? You feel like that's different than if the game gets called because of a player on the other team almost dying?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. Do you?
I like my thought has been, no matter what happens, there's reasons why a player can't finish a game. I mean, they can be ejected, they could be injured. In this case, they could have something they didn't even do cause it. I'm actually grateful that we didn't have to make that distinguishment, because I do feel like that's a lot harder one to make. And I don't even know exactly how I feel about that. But generally speaking, I would probably say there's reasons why you don't finish a game. If you don't finish a game, it doesn't count. Like, the points that you didn't score are not points you should get to score. Because, like, if they decided like to get in a jawing match and they get ejected, like, or even like if somebody comes up and starts talking trash with them, and they didn't even, like, let's say it's like a kind of a judgment call whether they should be getting ejected or not, and then like even like later on the NFL would be like, oh, actually after reviewing everything, they were rejected wrongfully. I still feel like just that's part of sports. Like, things can happen that can cause you to not be able to finish a game, and if you don't finish a game, you don't get the points. Like, that's just how it is. I do recognize that this is like a really weird scenario.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is I broadly agree, but I kind of feel like this is like such an extenuating weird circumstance that like a game being canceled. Like, for example, in the NBA in my lifetime, I'm pretty sure one game has been canceled. So like, you know what I mean? I was trying to think about
that had started. Or
yeah, that had started. All other games get replayed later. So yeah.
What
have you heard of the Malice in the Palace?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Obviously know that.
And I'm only pretty sure that got canceled. I'm not positive. I'm saying it out loud right now. And I'm like,
wasn't it right at the very, 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 very end of the game though, or no?
It was late. It was, but it did happen because of a play that was like broken up. It wasn't like it wasn't happening as like in the post game reaction to it or anything like that.
49 seconds left in the game. It was 97-82. That feels different than two of the best NFL teams only a quarter in, 4 points apart.
Yeah. Totally agree. I just mean, like, all I was getting at is like a game getting canceled and everybody's stats in that getting thrown out. It feels so not different, but like so weird because like that never happens. It's just a once in a generation ish type weird thing to happen.
It's hard to figure out where to draw that line, and there are like, especially like if you're Vegas, for example, that's a lot of money based on, and a lot of these things just are pushes and give your money back, but a lot of people thought they won a lot of money and then didn't and such, and
and I would be like frustrated at that. I'd be very, very frustrated at that personally. I don't know. Especially if it was already essentially decided. If it wasn't decided, I wouldn't really care. If it was already decided and like the stats retroactively as we're watching them occur get pulled back, then I'd be frustrated.
That'd be frustrating for sure.
Is that where you landed on it though? Was my original take?
Still, that your take was my take. I will see what actually ends up happening. I think it's still being adjudicated on, but for me, the game, the other part too is like the only reason why this didn't get replayed was because it happened so close to the end of the year, and so they just had to because in the NFL, it's such a physical game. Like you have to have time to recover. And this weekend right now is going to be the last regular season game. And then playoffs happen the week after. So they can't jam a freaking whatever game.
Right.
In the middle of that week. It's not going to happen.
If the plane was not able to land in a city and therefore the team never showed up there in week 12 or whatever, it would be replayed. And that's part of what I think makes this distinction so worth having a little extra consideration for compared to the usual the guy got injured, he can't play, big deal.
All right, well, so this podcast is on Stranger Tides.
Yes, year we started the podcast on Stranger Tides.
Yeah, this is the year we started a podcast on Stranger Tides. If you would like, Nick, or anyone, specifically anyone, I guess, you can check out the Stranger Tides podcast, extra podcast, which is the year we started another podcast on just normal tides, I guess, where we talk about sports things. Honestly, not too dissimilar from what we just did. If you want to check that out, you can go to patreon.com/TiWasap. One thing before you do your outro on Stranger Tides, Nick, one cool thing is the charity that Damar Hamlin is a part of, that he started to give kids Christmas presents, I believe was the original use for it, but also is just basically serving underserved youth and families in the area that he's from. He had originally, I looked at it and the day of, and he had raised up to $70,000. Now it is over $8 million, and I think that is pretty cool.
That is awesome. Yeah.
So good on sports people out in the world doing good things for a good cause. To let someone know that even though this is a silly game, that we do care about them as a people, and them as them peoples doing things good for other peoples, and I just thought that was cool. I mean, that's a lot of money for a lot of kids and families and such.
It is. I one thing that I believe in is I don't think that sports are a super important thing in general, and I think that sometimes we overemphasize their importance. But one thing that I have always noticed or always believed is that sports does bring people together for community, and that can be a thing that we just say as a mantra and kind of is just a platitude, and then it can also mean this. I'm sorry, I'm gonna belabor all of this a little bit. So as our last not topic, so a couple of months ago, there are several big mountain bike media outlets, I guess, that kind of cover all kinds of stuff with competitive mountain biking and tech changes and stuff like that. And one of them has a presenter who was really popular. She's I believe she's a former pro enduro racer. I could be wrong on that. This is just terrible. I know her mostly as from Pink Bike, and her name was Alicia Leggett. And I don't think I talked about it on here because I just felt like I didn't really know what to say. But she got an injury that was a freak injury and became a TBI. And she had a GoFundMe posted up, and within a single day, it had gone over its goal by threefold. And I feel like that's the thing about sports communities, is that they're in a moment of hardship, in a moment of freak, unfortunate circumstances, you can't always everybody's not always in this position to give, but people generally come through above and beyond in sports communities, and that's one thing I really freaking love about it. And I know that's not the same thing because it wasn't his bills, it was his charity, but I don't know, I love sports for this kind of thing. It's the reason I have held on to it as an adult, is because you can genuinely feel the community.
I'm the same way, man. At the end of the day, this is not my own quote, but of all the things that don't matter, sports matter the most. I love that, man. That is, it is one of those things where if we have reality check us on what priorities are, rivalries, the general competitiveness definitely takes second seat to, these are we wouldn't be able to do this without these people, and
right.
And we're all out here doing our best and are doing good things, and I think it oftentimes can bring out some nasty things, but I think in the most important moments it brings out the best. So yeah, no, I think that's great.
Burning cars after championships or whatever is aside. When you put that aside, the community's really good. Coming together.
Jeez, Nick. Way to bring it back.
I try to bring the optimism.
Oh man, these are some strange tides we're riding out on. Nick, tides. Take us out.
Okay, you can follow us at TiWhatSapp on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, but not Snapchat, and you can find all of that at TiWhatSapp.com. Itch, I don't remember at this point if you brought up our Patreon, but the TiWhatSapp.com does include a link to our Patreon.
Yep. All right, Nick. Well, did we wrap it? How do I wrap it on Strange Tides?
Usually, on Strange Tides, you say, Nick, good tides. Good tides, Nick.
These are the good tides, Nick. Till next time, surf's up.
Don't do that. This has been the year we started the podcast. Thank you all for listening.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did bad.